Hi everyone. Today I'm gonna tell about how we made our frontend simpler by using the concept of minimalism and smart Nano Stores. My name is Torgunakova. I'm a frontend engineer at Evil Martians, and we are engaged in product development for both startups and large companies, and we are also actively developing our own open source products. Before I start my talk, I want to share one personal story. When I studied in university, I was attracted by frontend because I can relatively quickly see the visualized result of my own work. And there was a time when three tools were now. Developers learned HTML, JS, and CSS. And then we were able to build a client-side application of any complexity. But the world has changed quickly. And today, three tools are not enough. We have nowadays a lot of complex tools, and this tendency appeared when we got frameworks. It was believed that frameworks will give us convenience and make the development process easier and faster. But what we eventually received? We received that the modern web development world is becoming more and more complex every year. And the most crucial part of it is that people suffer. Who exactly? The first type of people who suffer from increasing complexity of web development in the world is we developers. We are the first one who met with bad consequences of our own developments. And the thing is that we still need to do a lot of action to make something simple. Despite that the frameworks were believed to give us convenience and make our development process faster and simpler, we still need to make a lot of efforts to receive the same result and receive something simple. For example, we need to set up JS preprocessor, CSS preprocessor, model bundler, test environment, linters, and so on. And our life didn't become easier, and we still need to do a lot of actions. The second type of people who suffer from increasing complexities is users. And if users suffer, everyone else will be suffering later, including business and developers. And the very important fact here is that the average size of web pages is constantly growing up. And if 10 years ago, in 2012, the average web page size was about 800 kilobytes, then the last year it was almost 2,300 kilobytes. That's a big growth. And the larger is the web page, the more time it takes to download this page. And users just leave this page and the conversion becomes slower. And then the business suffer. And not only because of the low conversion, but also because often to do the same amount of work, business have to hire even more programmers because we still need to fix different bugs. We still need to add different features and enhancements. And if we add the necessary to support old legacy code and solve different conflicts between different tools inside a particular framework, we receive the business need to hire even more programmers than before, and it means wasted time and money. So let's sum up the results. From the growing complexity of web development world, suffer everyone: users, developers, business, and the situation didn't become better. It's even getting worse. And maybe we did something wrong. Maybe we need to do a step back and change something. Let's try to find inspiration in wise ideas from experienced people from our community. And the first one is fold knowledge into data, so the program logic can be stupid and robust. That's a quote from Eric Raymond, a well-known open source ideologue. He highlighted this idea in the book The Art of Programming for Unix as rule of representation. Let's think about how we can apply it. Currently, the world of web development revolves around frameworks. When we choose some tools to implement a new feature in our application, we firstly check if this tool is supported in this particular framework. And some libraries even are written for only one framework. Frameworks are responsible not only for displaying information, but also it affects how we implement features and logic, how we hold and process data. But the smarter is a framework's components, the harder it to maintain, to update, and to test. Maybe we did a mistake with our framework-centric model. Maybe we chose the wrong object as the center of our system. It's the same mistake that mankind already made centuries ago. I'm talking now about heliocentric system. Heliocentric system when it was believed that all celestial bodies revolves around the wrong object, with the Earth and not with the Sun. And only many centuries ago, mankind realized its own mistake, and we went to heliocentric model when the center of the system is Sun. Let me show you a small video that demonstrates how chaotic will be a planetary motion with heliocentric model with the wrong object in the center, to the contrast with heliocentric model. Great, isn't it? One second. Yes, it was a small lyric pause. Let's come back to our frameworks. We also can change our model and shift the focus from the frameworks to data. So frameworks will be responsible only for displaying information, and in the center of our model will be data. But what do I mean by the concept of data? What is the well-known process in web development world when we process and store some data about application? It's called state management. As a process of maintaining knowledge about applications data with opportunity to share it across the multiple parts of this application and with opportunity to update it. And in this concept, we have the term of stores, the specific objects when we place this data, and we can go to the stores to receive this data later. And we can choose the store-centric model instead of framework-centric model. we move logic into the stores, and we move stores outside of the components. So our stores can be smart, and the component would be stupid, robust, and be responsible only for showing some information. And that will be closer to idea about vault knowledge into data. Okay, we have figured out something. Let's try to find more ideas for solving our problem. The second quote is from Linus Torvalds, the lead developer of Linux kernel. Bad programmers worry about the code, good programmers worry about data structures and their relationships. Let's try to apply it for our problem. Currently, there exists a very popular global state approach with state management when we have some global huge object that contains all data about application, and all components can use this data for its own purposes. But it's not very optimized because usually on any state change, all components need to call the selector function, and also our chunk can hold the data that's not currently using on the user's page. Let's try to optimize this data structure and make it a bit faster. And we can find an inspiration in a pattern from reactive programming. That pattern is called observable pattern when we have one special object that is called observable, and value inside this observable can change. And we also have other objects that are called observers. They are registered themselves as subscribers, and then they can automatically receive the updates from the observable object. We can apply this pattern to the state management with one little enhancement. We haven't got a limitation to have only one observable. We can make many observables so they can contain a small piece of data and not all information about the application. So the component can use only the information that it is need to. So in this model, we have our components as subscribers and our stores as observable objects. So our components can subscribe to the stores and receive the updated values automatically. But in the real world, we have more complex cases. That includes when some data depends on other data. And the solution for such cases in our model will be simple. We just make our store smart, so not only components can subscribe to the store's changes, but also stores can subscribe to the other store's changes. And by this way, we can handle cases when some data depends on other data. Okay, that was the second idea. Let's go to the third one. That's a quote not from a programmer, but from a writer and aviator Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. Perfection is achieved not when there is nothing more to add, but when there is nothing left to take away. And I met with the concept of state management the first time when I tried to do something really simple. I had an application and I had to receive some information from the server and show it in multiple parts of my application. And when I started to search how I can make this in the better way, I found out the concept of state management. We use the complex scheme with different difficult entities like effects, reducers, selectors, and so on, and with difficult relationships between all of them. But in fact, everything that I had to do in that case is just create store with some initial value, then get this value in my component, and maybe later set the updated value. And that is enough for the simple cases. But we also don't need to forget about more complex cases. And the last quote from Albert Einstein is, "Everything should be made as simple as possible, but no simpler." It means that we want some simple way, but not oversimplified, because we still have got a lot of challenges as developers. And we need some tool that we can solve these problems conveniently. For example, we may want to implement SPA navigation based on application state, or synchronize changes between browser tabs, or automatically translate the content of application, and more and more. We still need to consider this. Okay, we have figured out something. Let's recap all the ideas that we just have come up with. The first one is we need to make components as stupid as possible. We move logic to the stores and stores outside of the components, so components can be responsible only for subscribing to the store's changes and to display some information from it. The second one, we want the process that will be as simple and as minimalistic as possible. In ideal, for the simple cases, it will be enough to have 3 one-line operations: to create store with initial value, to get value from the store, and then to set value in the store. And for cases when some data depends on other data, we can make stores smart. So not only components can subscribe to the store's changes, but make this way that stores can subscribe to other stores' changes too. And of course, we don't need to forget about more complex cases, not oversimplify, and we need to consider different developer challenges like conflict resolution, implementing SPA navigation based on applications data, automatic translations for the content, and so on. We, with other Evil Martians, were thinking a lot about what state manager will solve all our problems and suit all our requirements, and we didn't figure out. So we created our own state manager. It's called Nano Stores. Nano because its size is less than 1,000 kilobytes. 1,000 bytes, of course, minified in gzip. And its ideology revolves around all the principles I just have thought about. Let's see how it works with an example with simple online catalog. We will build a very simple page that have a list of the products on it, and the filter field. So when the user types something, the list of items will be filtered by its name. Let's try. The first, we need to import atom function from Nano Stores library and initialize our store with the initial array. Each element in array will contain a name and price. And we make this store exportable, so we can use it in our components. In our components, we will import the store and subscribe to its changes. To subscribe to its changes, we use the function useStore. In this example, I'm using React, but it doesn't really matter. It's framework agnostic, and you can find this function in other frameworks like Angular, Vue, Solid, Svelte, and so on. So we subscribe to the stores change, and then we just map our list of the products. And here it's map. So we have the list of our items with initial value, but we still need to filter them by the search input below the header. So we will add filtering. The first step that we need to achieve this goal is initialize the store with a string value for our search field. And we initialize it exactly the same way that we did it before with an empty string. And then we use this store with empty string in the search bar component. We use it in input HTML element. We use the value that we subscribe to the store in value attribute. And on change, when the user is typing something, we will set a new value in our store. Okay, we made the search input and connected it with store, but we need also to connect it with our list of items. And that's also simple. Here we need to use a computed function from Nano Stores library. Computed function means that this store will be smart, and it will be based on other stores. So in the function computed, we pass two arguments. The first one is the list of stores, and the second argument is the callback function. When any of the stores in the list are changed, we will invoke the callback function. And in our case, this function is just filter our values, our products, by the value that is typed inside our search input. And finally, we just need to use this computed store in our component. We will import it exactly the same way. And we will map the list of values in the store. And here we are done. When the user is typing something in the field, the list of the products are filtering automatically. We believe that moving to easy-to-understand processes is important and necessary. So when the next time you will need a state manager in your project, try to choose a minimalistic approach. And just in case, Nano Stores will be ready to help you with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Nina. This is such a great topic to make something simpler. I saw this first time, and this was understandable. That's pretty good. In our chat, thank you. In our chat, guys mentioned about declarative to make as such as possible. And one question to you. Can you please share and explain the difference NGRX and Nano Stores? also. Any experience Nano Stores with Angular framework?
Sure. Yes, in fact, I supported Nano Stores in Angular. They weren't supported. And I decided to do it because I don't know the really convenient state manager inside Angular. And GRX has a problem that I explained about different complex entities. And there are really a lot of them. And also there is a lot of boilerplates to make it work. And one time that I learned about in GRX, it was exactly that time that I found the scheme with different complex entities, and I didn't like it. So, and GRX is not about really minimalism. And I see the question there, good for small or middle project. We use Nano Stores for both small and middle projects, and it's very convenient in small projects because you just can create some small stores and use it in small components, and it will be very simple without a single boilerplate. And in middle project, it will be convenient too because we already have a big ecosystem, for example, to make a smart fetching, so our stores can receive some values from the server and then maybe refresh them and other functions. So it works completely fine in middle projects, and we use it for commercial development already too.
Thank you for answering. You're rocking our conference. We have 2 more questions in the VR community and 1 more question. Let me, Adam asks, did you write your own integration with it?
Oh, I fortunately don't see this question. I wrote an integration, like the only part that is not working in a new framework for Nano Stores is a function useStore. So in every framework, there is a specific logic, so the component inside the project can subscribe to its value. So I added integration for useStore function that allows to subscribe to the store's value in the Angular component. So that's the idea of the integrations.
Perfect. You integrated ideally. Thank you a lot.